iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max and their Face ID is 20 times more secure than the facial recognition on your Pixel 8 or 8 Pro. That's a mind-boggling number. I have both these phones. It works pretty darn good. I've got facial recognition set up on my Pixel 8. I've got it set up on my 8 Pro. Nice, fast, responsive, but 20 times. And I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty on this. I'm going to explain this. We're going to have a conversation about it. Or at least I am, because I'm talking to you like you're not talking to me. If you're talking back to me on the other end of your phone, you might need to seek help. But it's also pretty cool. So you get a Tech Odyssey Shiny Gold Star. So talking about the facial recognition, the reason that this is a hot topic when it comes to this phone is not because the iPhone 15 Pro gets hot. It's because, well, we haven't had the capability for a very long time to do things like open our banking apps with facial recognition. You would unlock the phone, and then it would be like, okay, put in your PIN, use your fingerprint scanner, all that good stuff. So what's the deal here? Well, when it comes to the front-facing selfie camera on the Pixel 8 and 8 Pro, the reason they're allowed, the reason they're able to unlock things like your secure banking apps and stuff like that is because Google has a threshold of criteria for different classes of security levels on their biometrics, and it's now a class 3. So the class 3 requirements, I'm not completely going through all of them. There's like spoof percentage and things like that, but basically the false positive, the failure rate for the front-facing selfie camera has to be no less than 1 in 50,000. So basically, if you take like a picture of yourself and you put it up here 50,000 times, and if it fails one time, that's okay. That's their level of acceptable tolerance for doing that. And you say 1 in 50,000, that is really, really high. Like, that's pretty stinking secure. And when you go look at Face ID, it's 1 in a million. So, like, the false positive rate, if I'm explaining this right, and yeah, 1 in 50,000 is the class 3 threshold for Google. This is not a universal standard. This is Google's Android standard, and class 3 is what gets you there for unlocking like secure apps like your banking apps and things like that. So I was doing some compare and contrast and looking at this stuff because, well, I just want to know. It's kind of interesting when they go, okay, you can do this now, but why? Why can you do this now? So their level of acceptability for Google and Android phones, 1 in 50,000. Face ID, 1 in a million. And one really interesting correlation here is if you look back and you look back at Touch ID that we have, it's on the iPhone SE 2020, it's on the iPhone SE 2022, still viable supported phones that have Touch ID. You know what their rate is? 1 in 50,000. So we can now say that facial recognition is as secure as Touch ID on the iPhone. And then you look at Face ID and it's 20 times, like 1 in a million versus 1 in 50,000. I saw that was cool. But what enables it to do that? What is so special about the Pixel 8 and the 8 Pro? And this is going to be a nice dive into some of the stuff the phone does. I've had a lot of people go, oh, yeah, you talk about AI and machine learning on the Pixel 8 and 8 Pro, but what is it actually doing? It doesn't seem like it's doing anything. My web pages don't run any faster. The calculator doesn't work any better. And some of the things that I've had people kind of relate their experience when it comes to what AI and machine learning does on their phone. It's kind of comical, but it's a new thing. It is a brave new frontier, uncharted, and we're going to talk about this more as we get to experience the Pixel 8 and 8 Pro phone. So I'm really happy that you can use the Face Unlock with the banking apps. Totally cool. Do I think that it needs to be 1 in a million? I am perfectly acceptable 1 in 50,000. Now, if you came back and said 1 in 49,998, I'd be like, you know what? No, that's not secure enough. But 50,000, I'll take it. So 1 in 50,000, cool. I think that that's pretty darn reasonable. 1 in a million is fantastic. And the reason that Apple is able to achieve that is because it has like the actual IR illumination sensor inside of it where it scans and like maps your face. Like your face is scanned and mapped. So if you look at something like a globe, or if you look at a topographical map that has like the declination diagram and has the elevation and things like that, the contours, a 3D model essentially. It's basically creating a 3D model of your face, and then whenever it's presented, it scans it using that IR illuminator, which you can't see, like it's infrared, and that's what enables you to securely unlock using your face. When you have a simple camera, it's basically just snapshotting a quick image of your face and comparing it to what it has on file. So because of the AI and machine learning, That's what got us over the hurdle. The AI and machine learning in the Pixel 8 and 8 Pro are so sophisticated that it enables your Pixel 8 or 8 Pro to unlock your banking app using its phone, because with all the extra data that it uses and the security and all the stuff that it processes on your phone, it can, with a degree of certainty, say 1 in 50,000 chance that it's going to fail at unlocking using something that's not your face. So I think it's pretty good. And that's just an illustration of what AI and machine learning do. It does other things like the voice to text on the phone. It does things like enhances the call assistant for blocking people whenever they call. It does on the phone voice translation whenever you want to translate and you want to have conversations with people. It helps out with battery life. And that's one thing, a lot of people don't pay attention too much to the adaptive battery and things like that. When it comes to adaptive battery, it takes about a week for your phone to learn it. And that's why it's a little frustrating when I see people who get a phone and like, oh, I got the Pixel 8 Pro, I used it for 2 days, I took it back, the battery life sucked. Well, one, in the first 48 hours, battery life on any phone is bad, because you're using it more than ever, you're transferring everything over, you're setting it up, you're downloading your apps, you're logging into all of them, you're probably excited and testing it out and playing with the camera and the new features and stuff. That's like, okay, you just got this nice girlfriend or boyfriend and you went out on a date for the first time and it's just so exciting and energizing, and you're sitting there, that's like your phone for the first time. You're using it, it's an exciting experience, especially for the first couple of days. So that's why I say don't look at the battery life for the first few days, especially when it comes to an Android phone, because when it comes to Android, especially with Google, you have the adaptive battery. What that does is, over that first week you're using the phone, it learns what you do, when you do it, and of course this is just a baseline. It adjusts that as time goes on, but it basically says, okay, I can shut this off, I don't need to do this, we're going to use this, we're going to cut that background task off, we can close these things because he doesn't commonly keep those open. He's like, what it's doing is it's optimizing the processes and what's going on inside the phone based off of how you use it, to where you won't notice what's happening, but it's actually saving you battery by closing and shutting off and pausing different things that the phone's doing. Because there's a lot of stuff going on here other than what you see at face value on the screen. So the AI and the machine learning really enhances that. And that's one thing, combined with Android 14 and the Tensor G3, it has, I think, done a pretty good bump on the battery life, but it's also enabled us to do the facial unlocking with our banking apps. And I think that's cool. I'm glad that we now have a class 3 level of security, that confidence, that 1 in 50,000, even though it's still not the best facial recognition. And I didn't really catch on to this until Mr. Who's the Boss said something about it. If you have it further away, it has a harder time with the map, with like basically the capturing your face and doing that algorithm and unlocking it. So if it's right here, it unlocks quick, fast, and in a hurry. See, real fast, bam. But if I put it out here, it doesn't unlock. So if I put it all the way into my arm, but then also it's not good for low light. And a lot of people talked about this, especially last year, the Pixel 7 and the 7 Pro. In low light situations, Face ID on the iPhone really excels because it has that, it has the IR illumination that floods your face, and it does that mapping and it detects that it's you. It doesn't need regular light. It doesn't need bright light like this. You can be completely basically like pitch black, and because of that infrared lighting, when the mapping of your face, it unlocks it. We don't have that with the Pixel 8 and the 8 Pro. But also, we have this tiny little peephole. It doesn't have the big notch. It doesn't have the dynamic island, big oval capsule-shaped hole in your screen. So there's some give and take. But I do appreciate what Google has done here. And hey, even if it's 20 times less, okay, I get it. 1 in a million is nice, but I mean, that's a lot, right? I think 1 in 50,000, I think for most people is probably going to be a fairly good level of acceptability. Like, that's a risk most people will take. 1 in 50,000 is a lot. I mean, I take a lot less odds than that whenever I'm trying to like play craps and roll the dice. So, and there's usually more money on the table there than there is in my checking account when I hit the casino floor. So anyway, just a joke there. I mean, I got a couple bucks. But anyway, I just wanted to go ahead and talk about that because I thought it was an interesting topic, and we got some numbers we could get in and kind of talk about this stuff and explain how AI and machine learning combined with the Tensor G3 in your Pixel 8 is making moves and is doing things for you that, well, other phones can't do. So that's all I've got. If you have any questions or comments, of course, please go to the comment section. I will do my best to get back with you. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.